Let's welcome Conrad now.
All right, I'm just going to keep this brief. Rowland was the coolest. He was otherworldly. A room full of the greatest minds in science and the arts could not have invented Rowland Howard. The only person who could have invented Rowland was Rowland. He did have a regal air about him. It was very hard to ever imagine him with the most everyday of things. Rowland on a bike, Rowland sending a text. When I walked into his flat one day to find him hunched over in front of the TV, playing a shoot-'em-up video, I could have fainted. Yet for all his otherworldliness, he remained the most human of friends. He wore his heart on his sleeve without apology. He was consistent, and I always knew exactly where I was with Rowland. His wit was ferocious. He was one of the funniest people I knew, even though I never heard him tell anything remotely resembling a joke. He was amazingly encouraging for me in the times that I needed it the most, and he really was the most loyal friend that I ever could have asked for. Rowland was always searching for new and wonderful things, whether in art, writing, film, or song. When he found something that he liked, he would always tell me about it with such excitement and zeal that it was impossible that I wouldn't get swept up in it all. When I heard Rowland say, "That's so fantastic," it was always a pleasure. His own artistic vision was singular, and it was magical. He wrote some of the most amazing songs that I've ever heard in my life. The last little while that my wife and I had with Rowland in the Austin were heart-wrenchingly sad, yet filled with a kind of a beauty that I can't easily put into words. I feel honoured that we could share these moments with him. I will never be the same again. I'll miss Rowland's laugh, his enthusiasm, his wit, and his words. I'll miss seeing sad films with him on a hot afternoon and walking out weeping, frightening 4-year-olds on Fitzroy Street. I'll miss his friendship. He was a masterclass in elegance and in eloquence. He never compromised and he fought until the end, and I will miss him every day for the rest of my life. He was a wicked fairy tale and a true and a beautiful friend. Rest in peace, Rolly.
And we welcome Pierre now.
These words are from Nick Cave, who can't be here today. Every now and then there comes along an artist that has from their very beginning a style of being that is entirely their own, without discernible influences and unique to themselves. For me, Rowland was that kind of artist. From the first time I heard Rowland play, it was clear that he was a phenomenal talent, with a guitar style that was so strange, radical and otherworldly that it seemed to come out of some secret place, entirely his own. When I got to know him better in the birthday party days, I was always in awe of his uncompromising stance on what was true and honest in music, in art, and what was not. I always envied his deep understanding of these things, and he was, in those early days, instrumental in helping me form my own ideas about things. Eventually, we went our separate ways, but I've always loved Rowland and missed his acerbic wit, his gentleness, his great humour, and his generous heart. He was a good friend, It was a great privilege to have worked with him and to have been in his sphere of influence. I will miss him very much. He was one of the truly great ones.
And we welcome Bianca now.
Very embarrassingly, the first thing I ever said to Rowland was that he was the best person in the world. And he said, "I don't know about that." And I said, "Well, you're the best fucking guitarist in the world." And he modestly said, "Thank you." I'm just so happy that I was able to discover that Rowland really was the best person in the world. And I love him so much. And I miss him so much.
So what richness we've received. Let us now be upstanding as we commend Rowland to the fullness of eternal love, eternal life, and all the places of belonging in his journey. Those that we represent and those of places like England where he lived, and remember all the communities known to us and not known. Amidst our grief and our sorrow, we commend Rowland to the fullness of eternal love.